just yet. They chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free. From the rigs to the rails, the crops to the code, we lit their streets, we bore their load. They laughed at pride, they mocked the West, but freedom don't die, it just waits for the test. The cowboys ride, the farmers rise, 5 million strong under open skies. No leash, no lie, no foreign throne. This land is steel and it stands alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free.
Welcome. It's 7-Eleven. It's Bruce Scholl here with Unscrew the News. So excited to have you. What an amazing time to be alive. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are watching, make sure to share this out, get some more eyeballs on this information. I have a fantastic guest coming up. So excited to have him. And we are going to be talking about Alberta independence. I know, surprise. Alberta independence seems to be on our minds because it is critical to make this province and save our way of life here in Canada. I'm quite excited about the membership. I'm excited about how many people have gotten on board and realized that Ottawa doesn't have our best interest, and they haven't had it for quite a while. Surprise. But anyway, the gathering of people has been fantastic. Obviously, the momentum, and we're working in towards the fall. I know I hate to say that as well, but we really are working up to the fall, and it seems like we're getting excited, getting ready for more events. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Mitch Sylvestre is my guest, the CEO of Alberta Prosperity Project. We're going to get into it here in a second, but we got an event to talk about coming up very shortly, and you want to get your boots on, ready to get out there and bring your blue flag. You gotta have your blue flag with you. All right. Before we get into it, I always like to start off by talking about local businesses. Very, very important to support your local business and mom and pops. We need to make sure that our families, our neighbors, and our friends are taken care of before the Amazons of the world. As I always like to say, it's important to make sure to support local businesses. One of the favorites that I like to talk about is nuggetstacker.com. I'm not your investment advisor, but I do suggest getting gold and silver to protect your family's wealth. You can find them up in the top left-hand corner. The QR code will get you a bit of a discount on your gold and silver purchases. Anything over $600 will be shipped anywhere in Canada, free of charge. And if you have any questions, 1-866-644-2121. They have been really helpful, great customer service, and they've helped my family out immensely. So give them a call if you have any questions. That's nuggetstacker.com. Like I said, QR code up on the left-hand side will get you a bit of a discount. Give them a shout if you have any questions. Like I said, lots of things coming up. I'm excited about having my next guest. It is, we're getting into that fall season, and kids are going back to school, and really our attention has to be back on October 19th on the referendum question, the referendum vote coming up. And anyway, we're going to get into it right now. I have got the CEO of CEO of Alberta Prosperity Project. I don't know if this guy ever sleeps. I have a lot of people that come on the show that I admire because they don't sleep. Maybe I have a sickness myself, but I appreciate hard work. And I know that you, as my hardworking Albertan friends, also appreciate this guy, because he has put it all on the line and there's no turning back. Thank you very much for joining me, Mitch Sylvestre. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me. In actual fact, I sleep very well when I sleep. My conscience is at rest.
The conscience is at rest, but do you get the number of hours that some of these doctors tell us that we have to sleep, or is it just the number for Mitch? Because for me, it's just a number that I know works for me. It's not necessarily the best.
Yeah, well, I hear you, but we do our best with what we have. Yeah, we generally get done events 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, and then I get to the hotel after I generally go to Boston Pizza for half hour to get something to eat, because I generally don't like to eat before events. So I generally get to bed at midnight, up at 8. So yeah.
Okay, well, he gets a good sleep. That's good. Yeah, good for you, man. That's great to hear, because some of us just don't get enough sleep as it is. But I know that I'll sleep when I die. That's what I keep saying. It'll be okay. All right, you guys. So Mitch, thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to bring you on because a little birdie, told me that there's some events coming up. Mm-hmm. And I know that you haven't made the major announcement yet, but do you want to tell us a little bit about the next big event coming up?
Well, the next big event is going to be at the Legislature on August 29th at 1 o'clock. It's a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the kickoff to the campaign. So that's in a couple of weeks. So it's a kickoff to the campaign. We need tens of thousands of people there. Mm-hmm. And the reason we need everybody there is because we got to show, first of all, it encourages our side. That's the most important part.
Right.
It encourages our people to get together and see a whole bunch of us together. It's a feel-good thing. It's designed to be a feel-good thing. Even back in COVID when we were doing events, the good feeling that people got by being in a room with people that thought like them, is going to be exacerbated like many, many times if you're in a space with 20 or 30,000 people that think like you. And the other thing is we're sending a message to the other side. If we don't show up in big numbers, the danger of events like this has always been, it's very clear to me. If you're very well attended, you send a message. If you're not well attended, you send the opposite message. So we take a chance by holding these events because we know we have a very, very large base. But if you don't show up, then the other side doesn't get to see that. And of course, it hurts us.
I'm going to bring this up because this is what we want to see again. We want to see something a lot like this back in Edmonton. We want to see even more so. And we don't have to wear winter coats. That'll be the nice thing about that.
17,800 people, according to the drone footage that we have and their estimate.
Yeah. Well, it was electric, and we need people to remember that this is for. I know you and I talked about this before, but this is for our families and generations beyond us, and we need those kids to come out too. We need everybody to be there and to recognize, like you said, being in that space with like-minded people, and the energy is just so electric and so positive. It was such a great feeling to be around all these people. It was amazing.
And everybody's happy. Everybody's on our side. It works really well. It's peaceful. It's going to be a great. It's going to be a great rally. And like I said, it's going to give everybody energy to kick off. For the next 7 or 8 weeks after. After the 2 weeks from Saturday.
Fantastic. So that's August 29th at 1 p.m. at the Edmonton Legislature or the Alberta Legislature in Edmonton. Sorry, go ahead.
So there's going to be buses coming from all over Alberta. So just go to Alberta Prosperity Project website, and we'll put you on a bus. So you can go there and back, basically around $60.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. I'm just going to bring this up here, make sure everybody gets this as we go through. There's the Alberta Prosperity Project website. It's albertaprosperityproject.com. And you'll find all the events and any of the information that you need will be in here. Resources. We also have this new category here, which we can probably talk about in a second, but the Wild Rose Women, obviously focusing on the female aspect of Albertans. And I know there's a, sorry, go ahead.
We just launched that this week, and it's something that the Americans do. They have a large ladies group, that focuses on women and the way women think and communicating with women, because we all know that that's a very powerful group that we need to reach, and we see some from our polling that we need to talk to women between 25 and 50 years old.
Right.
So I think that's what we need to do. So we're very happy to do it, because we really believe that it's in everybody's best interest what we're doing. And, moms and families are going to benefit the most, actually, from what we're doing. So we just have to get the message out there. But we launched this, and we do the orders. We fill in the orders for APP here at the store. And we had a stack of Wild Rose Women pins ordered this week after we launched this midweek.
Yeah.
And so all the staff at the store here were pretty excited about the fact that we're selling all these Wild Rose Women pins. And there's actually one on the top left of that picture that you had there. They're a very nice pin. But the whole thing is that we want the participation of everybody in Alberta, but we want to encourage the women to participate and to be part of something that could be a really, really big thing.
Well, I know that there's a few women I've talked to that recognize that our events, most of our independence events, are typically male, right? I mean, so there's that category seems to be missing, and so this definitely reaches out to women and offering them, a handout, or just to join in, as opposed to, it's all about the guys and waving flags and being all testosterone.
Well, you know what? We're actually going to look at launching events for women only if they want to go. Women speakers, women-only events. I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take the next step. We'll discuss that on Monday morning at our daily ops meeting on how we can make this much bigger and much stronger. And a lot of women are shy to go to events.
Sure.
Where it's male dominated. So you know what? We'll accommodate them. We absolutely want to talk to them, and we absolutely want them to understand, and we want them to be comfortable enough to ask all manner of questions. We don't generally have that problem at our events. We have a lot of strong women in the Alberta Prosperity Project. We really do.
Yeah.
So and we have many women presenters, and there's been a group of women with Kathy Fleck and Angela Trebek doing stuff already, doing that kind of stuff. So
they've been doing an amazing work.
That's really right, and they've started this, and Patrina's involved with that group too, and so just seeing that's great job. We're just going to add to that, or support that, or supplement that.
Yeah.
With Alberta Rose Women.
Well, that's wonderful. I think that's fantastic. So we got the event coming up August 29th at the Alberta Legislature. One of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I don't know how far you can go with this, but you mentioned that there's a constitution that's been in the works
for 5 years.
For 5 years. Okay. Well, that's good.
Since 2021.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you can tell me who's been working on it, or how much input has been.
I can tell you that, of course. The people that did a lot of the work on that are the boys from Medicine Hat, the Black Hat guys.
Oh yeah.
The guys that did the Alberta Bill of Rights, and those guys have done a tremendous amount of work on that. They started it. They started this during COVID in 2021.
Yeah.
And they've put together what I think is a great document. But here's the point of this. The point of this is a discussion paper.
Yes.
And we want everyday Albertans to understand that when and if we become a country, we'll have to change the rules because what's happening is not working. So we want Albertans all to understand that they're going to be pivotal in making all these decisions on how Alberta is going to look after a successful referendum.
Right.
Because, and honestly understand this, nobody that's in power wants that.
Yeah.
Like any level. So, from municipal to, from judges, we're talking about elected judges. We're talking about layers of accountability that are not there. We're talking about having a real ability to deal with crooked politicians. We're having a real ability to, there'll be term limits in what we're proposing. But all of this is just a proposal.
Yeah.
The big reason that we're putting this out now is so that people get used to the idea and start the conversation.
Right.
Like this is it. There's a link right inside, and it's going to be launched from our website Monday or Tuesday, and it's going to be very well presented. And there's going to be a link right in the middle of it on the first or second page of it, so that you can put your input in. So, you might have forgotten this, or what do you think about this? Or,
right.
And that's the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to start a discussion. So, who participated in it? The Black Hats. Then Alberta Prosperity Project hosted a 3-day weekend in Edmonton. We invited Bruce Pardy, Eva Chipiuk was there, Dennis Modry was there, Dennis Camo was there, Keith Wilson was there. Who else am I missing? Anybody? The Black Hats were there, of course.
Yeah.
Dennis, did I say Dennis Modry was there?
Yep.
Okay, so Dennis was there as well, and I was there just to, basically take notes and listen because I'm not a constitutional expert.
Yeah.
But it was a very interesting weekend, and I learned a lot. And as a consequence to that, I saw some very interesting discussion between between lawyers that were in the room. There was 3-4 lawyers in a room, so we had lots of interesting discussion. But the good thing of it was that there was lots of people like me, like regular people, people that are in business, people that live day to day and earn and try and make their businesses grow. And so as a consequence to that, we had that kind of input from people like me and us. And and then we had regular working people that were also part of the Black Hats, and they were involved with that too. So that's the whole idea, and that's the way it's going to be right after a successful vote.
Well, and I'm glad that you said that, because that's what I think Albertans would want, is that they don't want to be handed a constitution. They want to be a work in progress. I mean, it's a statue, or it's a work of art that's going to be chipped away at by all of us, as opposed to just one person handing it down. So
in a constitutional conference as well, right?
Yeah.
I've always thought the constitutional conference was absolutely necessary, and since we started down this path, I've actually looked back historically at the most probably important constitution in history as far as we're concerned would be the American one. It was about 250 or so years ago, and apparently that was a wrestling match. There was a lot of opinions, and I expect that to be the same for us.
Right.
But I think that the American Constitution was written 250 years ago, and most of it still applies.
Right.
And so the basic premise of government overreach is always everybody's problem, right? So and this has been going on since the Greeks and the Romans.
Right.
They had term limits of months in some cases.
Is that right?
And as little and mostly up to a year. They had situations where they would audit the leader before and after, and if he got a whole bunch richer, it was grounds to be hung.
Right.
So that would be a great situation in our case.
Yeah.
It
certainly would,
with what we got going on.
Yeah.
And there's a Middle Eastern country. There's not a Middle Eastern country, but a Pacific Rim country, and I'm not sure which one. But they pay their politicians $1 million each, and apparently they pay the leader $2 million each. And there's severe penalties for corruption.
Right.
Severe penalties up to death.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Now, give me an idea, or give us a framework, or your idea of what a constitution looks like, or a government. I know you talked about it a bit, but does it is the focus going to be, or is the focus, I guess, from the people that are working on it right now, smaller government? I think that's probably one of the main focuses, right?
That is for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think Bruce Pardy, tell me what you think about this, because I know that I've heard him a couple of times talking about starting from the point of government gets no power whatsoever. I love that idea. Like, you get nothing, and if I tell you you can take care of the hockey rinks, that's where you start.
Well, you know what? The idea of it is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce was in the room, and I had lots of conversation with Bruce about this. Not lots of conversation, but definitely some.
Sure.
And the problem, here's the thing: it's never been done.
Mm-hmm.
And the question
It's
is,
a theory.
and the question is, will it work? And so from my perspective, I like the idea of absolutely giving government no power, unless what you actually give them a job to do, and they have to do it. But then after that's as far as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So who doesn't like that idea? Well, everybody likes that idea, but in that room, in those 3 days, there was a lot of hard discussion about that.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not going to lie to you. There was lawyers sitting back, but by the end of the day, they were on the edge of their seats, and Bruce was defending his position. I'm not going to lie to you there. And so away we went with that, and I found it entertaining, but I also found it very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But the part that I'm going to share this with you, and I don't mean to demean it. But here's what I said. I actually had this conversation. I just said to Bruce at the end of the day there, at the end of the meeting, I said, okay, Bruce, I love the idea of this. I think this is excellent. Can I go out there and tell people at my town halls that this is absolutely going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, you can't do that.
Right.
So that's part that scares me a bit.
Yeah.
So other than that, and there's several other problems with it. From what I can see, there's going to be problems dealing with Aboriginal peoples and the stuff that they've been promised and stuff that they've signed in their treaties. Basically, if everybody starts from square one, that's going to have to be dealt with in a manner one way or the other. That particular version of the Constitution says everybody starts out at the same place.
So one of the things that I hear a lot of the chitter chatter when they try to pick apart the idea of independence, it tends to be about, well, you don't have a plan. I find that really, I find it immature, to be honest. As how do you start a country, or how do you break away from a country and leave a constitution and leave this with a clear plan? I think that, as you said, a constitutional gathering has to happen, when we get to that point. But really, I just don't see how you can draw out an absolutely perfect map of where to go and how you get there until you actually start to work it out with the people that live here and the people that want to be a part of this country. Can you speak to that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I can speak to that. Well, first of all, we're building that plan.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be as
it's a
close
framework,
to that as we can.
right?
It's a framework. It's just like this Constitution. It's a framework. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, if you become an independent country, is make the rules.
Right.
So that's got to be right away. So that's the Constitutional Conference. So the people are going to make the rules. So then once you make the rules, then that's the foundation of everything.
Right.
So that's going to be the foundation of, what you can do, what you cannot do. So that's the start. But the part that kind of I find interesting is Alberta's already built. Like, we have everything here that we need to move forward.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, the morning after, everything is going to run the way it's running. And we're, according to the law, we're going to go and we're going to sit and have a conference between, the federal government and Aboriginal people and the new country of Alberta. Yeah. And then we're going to, negotiate our way out of that, out of the country. So there's going to be a time lag in there. But you know what? We're going to have, we're talking about lots of things. Like, for example, you go back to the Constitution, and I had this discussion with the Premier. The Premier said, well, what do you think of the Swiss system? I said, well, I like the Swiss system. where everything's basically voted on by the people.
Right.
So the basically MLAs have little to no power.
Mhm.
Everything's voted on by the people, and in that system, you can actually have a vote on something that you voted on 4 years ago and change it as well, as long as you get enough support. So
Right.
it's something that but your Constitution has to be a living, breathing document that has to be difficult but not impossible to change.
Right.
So in our situation here in Alberta, we couldn't open and change the Canadian Constitution, which has never been ratified, by the way.
Yeah.
And has never gone to a constitutional conference for the people. So that has never been done.
So
the people
in
had
1905,
little to no say.
in 1905, we had no say, is what
Right.
is what you mean by that.
Well,
Yeah.
in 1982, we had no say either.
Right.
Right. So when they put the new Constitution in, we had no say.
Right.
So the new Constitution is basically taking the power away from Parliament and giving it to the judiciary, and so that's where we're sitting right now. And we saw big examples of that, down this road that we're on, this Independence Road with our gathering of signatures.
Sure.
That exercise was supposed to be, according to the Citizens Initiative Act, was supposed to trigger the vote by itself.
Mhm.
Instead, it triggered a vote to have a vote. Right. So it really did. They make the rules. They follow and as a consequence to that, and it's absolute fact that the UCP doesn't want that. The Premier's come out and said that.
Yeah.
The CPC doesn't want it. The NDP don't want it. The Liberal don't want it. So we're by ourselves here. And the people have to decide if they want this or they don't want this. And in order for them to do that, they have to show up, and they have to show up at rallies, and they have to for 6 or 8 weeks, or we're not going to get another chance to do this.
No. The consequences of a no vote is that there's going to be a time limit until we can actually get to this point again. Is that what I understand? Like if we have a referendum?
There is, but here's the other path. The other path is that you got to get involved with government, whichever government is in power.
Right.
If you don't have representation in caucus, anyway, you'll never get this through.
No.
So we're seeing that now, right? We're seeing government come up with all manner of roadblocks.
Right.
We're seeing a premier that campaigned on sovereignty, who I supported from the very beginning.
Well, I think you guys kind of headhunted her, as far as I can tell.
Well, we did headhunt her.
Yeah.
We literally went after her, and we thought, based on listening to her and her radio talk shows and all manner of stuff, she's very bright, she's very capable, she's articulate, and you know what? We thought that she would be the perfect choice to lead us into the new free Alberta at some point, and well, we were obviously wrong.
Do you have any thoughts on that? I don't know if you want to share that, or if that's
of course I have
maybe
thoughts
in
on
the
that.
yeah. What happened?
I ask myself that question often. What did happen? So what happened from the day that she came to Bonnyville the first night that I listened to her, and I was actually supporting Brian Jean back then, because Brian Jean was oil. He's from an oil guy. He's from an oil town. He's an oil guy. He lives in northern Alberta, as I do. Where Fort McMurray Bonnyville's close to Fort McMurray, relatively speaking.
Yes, sir.
And we share the same oil patch. So we produce 35% of Alberta's oil here. So as a consequence to that, I thought, you know what? Here we have a premier that's saying all the right things, right? She said all the right things. Even after she was elected, she said all the right things. And she bashed on Justin, and she did all of that. And, that made everybody happy, up to and including me, because the last 10 years of Liberal rule were absolute insanity for Canada and for Alberta.
Correct.
Like they literally sabotage our industry. And the thing that young people don't understand is this. And we're going to push this. We're going to push this in our messaging here right away. We have tremendous amount of wealth here, and we don't have to invent the wheel here. What we have to do is access our wealth so that we can sell it to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to create work. We are the envy of the world here.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has what we have. And so, and the beauty of it is that we don't have to manufacture anything here. We have it all here. All we have to do is produce it. Mm-hmm. And we're the producers. So all we have to do is expand on what we have, and we can get to a zero tax position in a very short amount of time, within 10 years, I'm sure. And the other thing we can do is we can have all manner of jobs. If the oil patch gets busy, there won't be enough people to do the work.
No, of course not.
And so that's the whole thing. So yeah, that's where we're at. How did we start? I kind of lost my train of thought.
Well, I was just asking you what happened with Danielle. I think is what the issue was.
Yeah. So then what happened with Danielle is I don't.
Do you think she
really
has a desire to be the PM? Do you think that's because a lot of people talk about that?
My mind, but
yeah.
But you know what? I put that out there, and there's people in Ontario said there's no way they're going to elect Danielle.
Of course not.
So how does that work?
Yeah.
She could be the we did elect her premier here, but what I don't understand is with all this New World Order stuff. Nobody talking about it. Danielle's not talking about it. Why is she not talking about it? She talked about all the rest of the stuff that was going on. What is the New World Order? I understand what I think the New World Order is, and I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I think New World Order is leading us right into communism. So will somebody answer the question? Will somebody say, well, is this actually a communist agenda? Well, based on all the C-bills and based on everything that's going on, the technocratic,
yes,
the technocratic method that they're going to use to capture our resources and use it for themselves, and everything that they want to do and everything that they're currently doing, they're leaving it in the ground until they can access it from what we're seeing. Right. Because it's the only thing that makes sense.
They want us to leave it in the ground. 100% they do.
Well, right. And who is that? Historically, that's been a Tides Foundation. So, that's American. Yeah. So just understand that, we're sure that we're not sure who these globalists are, but the whole thing is that what we're also sure about is here's the choice from the way I see it. I see we can let the big business and all those people take all of our wealth and resources, or we can try and use it for ourselves, for the people. And I also have the idea in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, that if it's possible that they could have this already done, it would be already done.
Mm.
They're passing legislation to make it easier and easier and easier for them to actually accomplish this goal.
Correct.
And we're seeing it with everything that they're doing. And let's talk about data centers.
Yeah.
Like, what are data centers? Like, how come all these things are such big secrets?
Right.
Well, I know why they think they're big secrets, but why are they not talking about them? Why they're not explaining? And I understand the data centers. Like, if the rest of the world has data centers, you would want to have data centers.
Yes.
But my big problem is this: who's going to make sure that that's not used against the people?
Right.
Right. I mean, who's going to? And do you trust the government that's there right now to do that for us?
Well, I think the answer is no.
Do you trust Danielle to negotiate on the behalf of Alberta right now?
Certainly not.
Based on what she's just done.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, 70%, the last poll that we saw last week, 70% of Conservatives of UCP members are Independence people. So she's basically governing for 30% of her base, and the rest of the province that doesn't vote Conservative.
Well, this is nothing new, Mitch. I'm sure that you also see this municipally, and we see it federally. Wow. Is governments just look the other way? There is no representation for the actual people. I feel it every day. Is that they don't care what you have to say. Well,
the problem is that the left has been doing this forever.
Mm-hmm.
The left has been putting people into position. They've been putting bureaucrats into position. They've been doing that. And we're out there asking our people to say, you know what, guys, we've got to show up.
Yeah.
We're busy producing. We're busy running our businesses. We're busy running our lives. I get it. That was me. That was me up until 4 years.
Is that right? Hey? Oh, I didn't realize that you were just a 4 or 5 year guy. Oh, okay.
Oh my God. I was an Alberta within Canada guy before the federal election.
Yes.
So I'm recently brand new to this train of thought.
Wow.
But I totally understand now.
Yeah.
It's
the lights switched on Mitch. That's for sure.
The lights switched on for sure. And you know what? The whole thing about it angered me. It just made me angry. I had no idea. I actually thought up until COVID that Canada was one of the least corrupt countries in the world. Honest to God, I gotta confess that. I said, "Oh, we haven't got that. This is not Banana Republic kind of corruption here." And then you know what? You see that it is. In actual fact, it's they have no rules. The amount of money that's missing at the federal level is unbelievable. 46% of everything, all infrastructure money, according to the Auditor General in 2025 report. How come we don't know that? How come nobody's been held to account on that?
Say that again, just so that because this is a big number.
So the Auditor General did a report in 2025 that said that 46% of infrastructure projects in Canada had little to no evidence to show that they were completed.
Wow. 46%, guys.
So 187,000 projects, there's 22,000 missing projects.
Wow.
So where's it? What I'd like to know is, where's the investigation on that?
Yeah, there is no investigation.
Well, I know, but how come?
There's no investigation in there's no investigation in SNC Lavalin. There's no investigation into the numerous things that Justin was supposed to be held accountable for. Right. And then Carney was the guy that was the puppet master, and now he's in charge. This is just it's ludicrous.
Well, you can't make it up.
No, it's worse than some villain. It's worse than Darth Vader. He's way worse than Darth Vader.
And the thing is, they don't talk about it. And what concerns me now, this mail-in ballot concerns me.
Wow. I
have a story for you. The first, I'm a UCP CHR. Okay, so I'm right involved with the UCP. Yes, I was UCP CHR of the year, and I was the biggest fundraiser in UCP last year. So just so you know, and that was all went for Danielle. But what I see happening now is that these people have absolutely no accountability. Even my first CA board meeting after I was elected.
Yeah.
The first CA board meeting was after the nomination race between Dave Hansen and Scott Sear. So the people that were doing the scrutinizing at the elections came to my meeting, 3 of them, and they said, "Hey, there's a big problem with this election. There's 53 more ballots than signatures. And the incumbent lost by 1 vote."
No.
So I took it to the party and multiple times. And I said, "Hey, we got to do a do-over here, or we've got to get something done about this, because this is just not, there's no way that we can do this." That's quite a large number, like 4, 5, or 6% of the votes, more than signed for, which is very, I can understand maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but not 52.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just saying. So as a consequence of that, you know what they said to me? Take us to court.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's our side.
Wow. That's
our side.
The UCP. Yeah.
That's the UCP. That's our side. So what I'm telling you is, what do you think the odds are?
Yeah.
That they're not going to try some shenanigans with this big vote here that has $47 billion a year,
right,
worth of revenue at stake.
Right. Well, there's no doubt about it, because we know how the judge stepped in front of, bringing our petition forward.
Yeah.
And where did that come from? I have no idea. It's so magical that it just sort of happened.
Do you know what he said? Do you know what he said?
No, go ahead.
Actually said,
yeah,
there are questions that the people should not be allowed to ask.
Is that right?
An unelected bureaucratic judge, that's the attitude.
Yeah, of course. They're way better than us.
We're capable, but you certainly are not.
Yeah. I got a question. I got a thought in regard to this, and I haven't expressed this to you, but it's something that I think about on a regular basis. This whole process of leaving Canada is so absurd when you think about it, because we're asking the slave master if we can please exit the plantation. And we're trying to jump through hoops to prove that we're worthy to leave the plantation. Of course, they're not going to let us go. Of course, they don't want us to go, and of course, they're going to make it as difficult as possible. Even though they said that this is, that it's part of the Constitution to be able to exit if we wanted to. It's kind of crazy, right? But we have to go through it.
Well, no, of course we have to go through it, but the thing is that I actually this is kind of there's a parallel here, because I have a friend who's from the deep south in the U.S.
Mhm.
and they're I don't know, third or fourth generation away from slavery, and anyways, his family were plantation owners in the deep south.
Mhm.
And he, at dinner one night, he was talking about that, and he said, you know what, the thing that the plantation owners were most afraid of is an uprising,
Sure.
because they just didn't have the numbers to handle that. So we're not having a real uprising here, but what we have to do is we have to understand something very basic.
Mhm.
There's a lot of us and a few of them.
Mhm.
So what we have to understand is they print money, they control the media, they make the rules, but none of that works unless we listen.
Mhm.
So if we show up in great big numbers, which is our trump card, we show up in great big numbers at these events, we can sit, if we put 1 million people or 1.5 million people on the steps of the ledge at some point, it's a done deal.
Mhm.
They just did that somewhere in Bulgaria. I believe they did that. They had 2 million people sitting, and the next day the government resigned.
Well, there you go, folks. Albertans, August 29th, show up and be there. Pack the legislature, right?
Show them that you exist. Show them that we have big numbers. And all you have to do is go there and stand up and take a spot.
Yeah. You don't have to, we don't need violence. We don't
don't want it either.
No.
It's not as effective actually as doing it this way.
No, it's exactly the
If you study
opposite.
history, this is the most effective way to do this.
Yeah.
And that's the way we have to do it.
That's the way we have to do it.
Correct.
So we don't want you if you want to do that. So, but be there. We want everybody to be there. It's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be fantastic energy. Beautiful, beautiful Albertans that want independence, that want better for their families, that want a better life for generations to come. That's who we want there. I mean, those people are here, and we need them activated. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, was there anything else that you want to talk about? Because this has been fantastic conversation. I really enjoyed it.
You're driving the bus here, so you go ahead. If there's anything else you want to ask me, I'll answer.
No, I think I'm there. I think we got what I want, because it's been awesome to talk to you, and I found out some more stuff about Mitch. That he's only waking up about 5 years ago, and I see yeah.
I woke up because they shut me down in Canadian Tire and Walmart. We're running 25 minutes down the road.
Sorry, they tried to shut you down because you're the mom and pop. Like I always talk about, exactly. Keeping the mom and pop shop open, but they shut you down is what you're saying. I didn't realize that.
They literally shut my store down. And you know how ridiculous this is.
Yeah. And they had the weed stores open and the liquor stores open.
Yeah, of course. And then I went and read the rules and see what the essential services were. So one of the essential services is now is bike repair, and I do bike repair.
Mm-hmm.
But this was January. So I opened my store, and Alberta Health came to the store and said, "Hey, you can't be open." I said, "Well, I'm a bike repair shop, so I'd like you to leave." And they did, and I never heard from them again.
Oh my God, that's a good story.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, at the same time, they were putting pastors away because they were preaching to their parishioners or to their people, and it's absolutely insane. I just a short, brief, dark times memory, but it's so absurd that we went through this, and some people still think, oh well, we got through it. Let's just let it go. I am not letting it go. This has to be rectified.
You want to talk about that? Like I've been actively pursuing Christian churches and churches of all kinds, all denominations, and trying to tell them how dangerous Bill C9 is.
Yeah.
And we actually have the head of the Mennonite Church is going to present on Bill C9 at our rally.
Oh,
the head of the Mennonite Church in Alberta. So what I'm saying is, you want to separate church and state for the most part.
Yep.
Except when everybody's being affected by what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a responsibility there, as far as I'm concerned, from the church to explain to people that this may not end well.
Yeah.
And it may not end well for the churches themselves, because the path that they're going down, all these countries that, communist countries aren't enamored with Christian churches or Muslim churches.
No, of course not.
Any other churches. So,
Yeah.
so historically, they do their best to get rid of them, and people are, attending services in secret and private.
Right.
And so, if that's the way we want to go, there's, that's the path that we're on. I really believe that.
Well, you mentioned it before, the communism and what we're leading towards, and I encourage people to open their eyes. Each of these bills that they're putting in front of us, bills to stop children from being able to access the web, is just a trap to have us digitally connect, and each and every adult has to then put their information in to access the internet. It is 100% digital ID trap. It's just another thing that they're looking forward to corralling us, and even more so.
Freedom of speech. Danielle even said that this is too much for Alberta here last week or two when talking to Edmonton City Police.
C-25, yeah. Oh, yes.
C9.
Yeah.
The hate speech bill. They had signs on billboard signs on the buses telling people to rat out their neighbors for hate speech.
That's right.
So
if you get your feelings hurt, is what it really was. Yeah.
In my world, you got to put up with the garbage that comes out of your neighbor's mouth if you have to, so that you can actually say what you need to say. So
that's our Alberta that we need. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
Yeah.
And back in the day, men would settle that if that got out of hand. But those days, the things have changed now. But the whole thing is that this isn't the way to do it. Stick people in jail for having an opinion.
No.
And who makes that decision? Well, an unelected bureaucrat, and that's dangerous all by itself, right? Who are these?
Well, they want to go to a UK model. It looks like Edmonton was leading towards this UK model, where if you had a nasty tweet that said a politician was in the wrong, then you'd go to jail for that. I mean, that's what they're leaning towards.
30 people a day there.
Yeah.
So the model is already there. It's already functioning.
Mm-hmm.
So how serious is that to the average Albertan? That's very, very, very serious.
Absolutely.
And they're attacking everything. So I would just like everything to slow down.
Yeah.
But the idea is they're going so fast, they're passing bucket loads of bills, and people can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, that's what they want to do. So they want to overwhelm, the average person.
Absolutely. And everybody throws their hands up in the air. So, well,
that's right.
Get involved with politics because, oh my God, I don't understand anything that's going on. Well, that's okay. I understand why you don't understand what's going on. That's the way it's designed.
That's exactly how it's supposed
to understand what's going on. So that's and the only way out of that is to stop it, control it, and change it.
Yeah.
So other than that, if we don't make this decision to do this now, I don't think we'll ever have another chance. So that's why I work so hard, and that's why we're working so hard to try and accomplish stuff. And we're going to probably make a mistake or two along the way.
Yeah.
But it won't be because we're not trying. And if we do, we'll pivot and change, and we'll do things better. And that's the only promise I can make you. We're gonna, because Mike Tyson said something. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
I love it. I love that saying. I have one more thing to ask you, and I'm dying to hear this from everybody. But to me, I just want your perspective on this. To me, Alberta is like the last bastion of what I believe is Canadiana. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? I have believed that from the very start. I said, if Alberta doesn't stand up, we're done. Mm-hmm. Canada's done. But you know what? I've been to Saskatchewan Prosperity Project meetings.
Yeah.
I did 3 here a couple months ago, one in Regina, one in Saskatoon, one in Swift Current. And I've had a long conversation one night with Paul Plamondon, the leader of the Parti Québécois. And I've talked to BC prosperity type people. So what's happening is that there's actually the feeling across a lot of the country now that something's wrong. Something's really wrong. And it is. There is something really, really wrong. There's no question about it. What's really, really wrong is they've turned our whole system upside down. And so we're so busy trying to produce and earn, and that's part of the problem too, right?
Yes. Well, they want you to do that too.
Oh yeah. They tax the hell out of you, so you're so busy working you can't pay attention to what they're doing in the background.
No.
And that's exactly what's happening. And you can't have kids because you can't afford to have a bunch of kids. Mom can't stay at home, so that causes all manner of problems all by itself. And then they bring in unlimited amount of immigration that totally clogs up our system and makes things just unmanageable is the right word.
Unmanageable, for sure.
So yeah, so are they doing it on purpose? Absolutely. Should we pay attention? Absolutely. Is it too late? Absolutely not. But you have to show up now. Now's the time. Now, the next 6-8 weeks, and then the vote after that is going to be for all the marbles.
All the marbles. Mitch, this has been awesome. Fantastic talking to you. Yeah, I really appreciate you. And okay, just before we go, Constitution's coming out. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's framework that people need to be participating in. August 29th, which is what is today, the 15th. So it's 2 weeks from today. Yep. It's basically 2 weeks. And no, it is 2 weeks. Exactly.
It is exactly, yes.
Yeah, 2 weeks, 1 o'clock at the Edmonton, Alberta Parliament. You got to be there. Make your way. You said that there's going to be buses going from all over Alberta. The information will be at albertaprosperityproject.com. Mm-hmm. Anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's been really good. Just going to tell you that the Constitution will be available digitally, probably Tuesday on our website at Alberta Prosperity Project.
And it's really a conversation starter. It is not the end product,
absolutely.
Right? We need to be talking about it. We need to be bashing our heads in to try and figure out the best way forward. And I just mean that, like we have to fight it out. Like we don't. Yes. We have to work this out, and that's the way that you get through this. It's not a simple process where I say, Mitch, here's my ideas, and then you go, oh yeah, those are great ideas. I'll take those forward and make it happen. No, we might actually have to disagree,
and that's going to shape how the new Alberta looks.
That's right.
Everybody says, well, what's this going to look like? Well, it's going to look like however you decide it's going to look like when you make the rules after this whole process is done. Yeah. Because this is going to be something that you're going to have some say in. So and I just can't understand why anybody wouldn't be really, really excited about the possibility of starting a new country with what we have here.
This is your once in a lifetime chance to be a part of something massive. I'm so excited about this whole process. As I start off every show, it is an amazing time to be alive. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that. So we are living in amazing times.
We are.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Just give me a second while I say goodbye to the audience, and we'll have a 10-second catch up after this.
Sure, okay. You bet.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching, make sure to share this out. Get more eyeballs on this information. As you saw, we had a great conversation with Mitch Sylvestre and the CEO of the Alberta Prosperity Project. You have got to share this out with your friends and families. I'll make sure to chop it up and put it into some social media. But we have to break through the wall, you guys, because they are controlling the media. All right. I always like to say, let's stay sane together. Keep your head on a swivel. This is Bruce, and I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.